Hi everyone, the Penguin Chef here. Today I'm going to show you how to make a prime rib using the reverse sear method. The great thing about this method is you can use it on any kind of beef roast, which I have done, but since it's the holidays, I decided to splurge a little. So I have here a very beautiful piece of meat. When you buy your meat, you can ask your butcher to do what I'm about to do, which is to cut it off of the ribs and retie it for you. It makes it easier to spice it up, it makes it able to cook a little more evenly. I did not have that done so that I could demonstrate how to remove it from the ribs. So the ribs start here, so we're gonna wanna cut along the bone, getting as much of the meat with the rest of the roast as possible. Now the only problem is this roast is so dang long, I'll come at it from the other side. If you use this method, you're gonna wanna do this all the day before because you want it to sit in the refrigerator overnight. Almost did it perfect. All right, so now we've got the bones separated from the rest of the roast. So we're gonna make our rub. I'm gonna start with a tablespoon of each of my favorite spices: parsley, sage, rosemary, and thyme. Yes, I know, I use them a lot. To that, I'm gonna add a tablespoon of garlic powder, a tablespoon of onion powder, a tablespoon of salt, and half a tablespoon of paprika. And we're just gonna mix that up. You want it a little coarse so that it's not a super fine powder, so don't grind it up or anything. That looks pretty good. We're ready to rub it on the roast. So I've got some kitchen twine here that I've measured sort of based on the size of the roast, and I'm just gonna lay it in the bottom of a pan. This is not our roasting pan, by the way. We will be transferring it to a roasting pan later. So I've got those laid out. I'm just gonna take the ribs and lay them over the twine. So the next step is I'm going to smear the exposed surface of the rib piece with about 2 tablespoons of minced garlic. Garlic down. So we can just let that sit for a minute. We're gonna go ahead and spice up the bottom side of the roast. I'm just gonna spoon a little bit over on top of it and then rub it in. Okay, that looks like a pretty good coating for that. So now we're carefully, so hopefully we don't lose any of that nice rub, gonna flip this onto the rib piece. Try to seat it back on in exactly the same spot where you cut it from. There we go. Now we're ready to spice up the rest of this. Gotta be a little careful when it curves over the side. Spice down. Get it as low as you can. If anything falls off, hopefully it'll be in your pan and you can just pat it back on. So now that that's all done, we're gonna go ahead and tie our kitchen twine. You wanna make sure to get it reasonably tight so that everything gets held together. You can just go ahead and knot it because you're gonna cut it off. We're just gonna snip off the ends so that they're not hanging off too ridiculously. We're gonna put this in the refrigerator just like this, no cover, no nothing, overnight. And we'll come back to it when we're ready to start with it tomorrow. All right, it's the next morning. We've taken our roast out of the refrigerator. So the first thing I'm gonna do is just transfer it into my actual roasting pan. Since this is a standing rib roast, you don't need a V-rack or anything. You just rest it right on the bones. So now that that's in our roasting pan, we're gonna go ahead and put in our thermometer probe. So the goal here is to get it centered in the meat portion away from the bones, preferably avoiding any fat veins. There's some guesswork involved. Now you think it would be easier going in from the top, but the one issue there is then you might have a slice with a big hole in it. So you get it in as close to halfway as you can. All right, that looks pretty good. Now we're just gonna wait for about 2 hours, and then we're gonna put it into a 225-degree oven and start it roasting. Temperature is key when cooking a roast, so here are some per pound estimates, but remember, these are just estimates. Trust your thermometer for a good finished product. Our prime ribs come up to temperature. Let's get that out of the oven. So we're gonna tent this loosely in foil and we're gonna let it rest for 30 minutes. In the meantime, we're gonna crank the heat up on our oven to 450 degrees. So our prime rib has rested for a half an hour. We're gonna put it into our 450-degree oven for 15 minutes to sear the outside. Since the meat has already rested, as soon as you take it out of the oven, it's ready to carve and serve. Just snip the twine, remove the pieces, transfer to a cutting board, and carve. All right, there it is. That's our prime rib, slow roasted and perfect. Hey, thanks for watching. I hope you enjoyed the video. Check out the channel for more great recipes. Happy holidays!